94.3 Loudwire, Northern Colorado's maximum rock station. It's the Butch Show. Thanks for hanging out with us. Special guest on the line, one of our good buddies. He was actually just in our studio this last summer. George Lynch from Dokken, Lynch Mob, and now KXM. George, what's up, man?
Hey, Butch, what's up?
Not a whole lot. Thanks for taking some time. I know we were just talking just a few minutes ago that I don't understand how you even have time to sleep, so I'm happy that you took some time to call us. Now, tell us a little bit about KXM.
It's really kind of interesting. I do a lot of recording and do a lot of projects, and it's sort of ironic that the one project that we did the quickest with the least amount of thought was just really kind of a knee-jerk reaction thing that we threw together. Turned out to be the thing that had got the most attention and is kind of growing legs, and it's actually really surprising. In a great way. I mean, we're all really happy, but it's kind of like, wow, I'll work a year and a half on a record and nobody cares, and then I'll go in 10 days with some guys and just throw something down without any preconceived idea of what we're going to do, and just have, just kind of think, well, this will be fun, and then, it sort of does really, seems to be doing pretty well. So
for sure, and it's really good stuff. I know for those of you that don't know what KXM is, it's George Lynch, yourself, and then you've got drummer from Korn, Luzier, and then the lead singer from King's X, Doug Pinnick, as well. How'd you guys all meet up and decide you were going to do something like this?
Well, it's there's no really interesting or funny story behind it. We were just all together at Ray's house, talking and hanging out at Ray's studio, and three of us standing there. We're going, well, maybe we should pick up instruments and play, And we started messing around. We thought, well, this is kind of cool. Maybe we should pursue this. And was the biggest challenge was to get everybody together in a studio.
I bet
that was really, once we got there, it was like, okay, we could breathe now. We can actually just relax and just see what happens. And it was really fun to watch the process because, initially, everybody's, we're all pros and lifers, and we do this for, as for a living, and we know what we're doing, but you never know what's going to happen. It could just be weird or maybe not be great or who knows,
Mm-hmm. And
once we got past that initial kind of, few hours, half a day or whatever, we started coming up with pretty cool stuff, and we're like, wow, this is cool. And I saw it in everybody's eyes and just sounded like that, like when we're kids, you just get excited about what we're doing, and we think, oh, we can do this, we can do that, and
right.
It just took off from there. We spent 10 days in the studio, and we wrote everything on the spot, so.
That's crazy, man, especially after listening to the album, to think that it was all done, writing and everything in 10 days. It's pretty crazy. Rescue Me is the single that's out right now, and speaking of good stuff, the song's absolutely awesome, and you've touched on it a little bit before as far as having some success. It's blowing up, man. Did you expect that from that song?
No. Well, when I first, here's the thing, when we, as the, through the process of writing this stuff and recording it as we were writing it, and then afterwards getting the vocals together and the mix together, it just started to evolve and get better and better. And the first time I heard Rescue Me was over here at my studio, and we were all here, me and Ray and Doug and the engineer, and we were listening to it, and it was just, oh my God! And we hadn't heard what Doug did to it yet, and it was beautiful. That's one of those payoff moments that makes it all worthwhile. When you're sitting there with your friends and you're listening back, and you see what you've helped create, there's no feeling like it in the world. It's just, we created something that's magical, and it just feels so good. Then you listen to it 100 times, you get tired of it.
Yeah, I hear you. But I probably haven't listened to the single 100 times yet, but I bet we probably will, because it just keeps climbing the charts. Pretty soon it's going to be all over the place. At least my fingers are crossed for you that it is. But what's it mean for everybody else's bands? Are you guys going to try to do this as a long-term thing? Are you guys going to eventually try to tour? Obviously, Ray's going out on Mayhem with Korn, and I don't know what Doug's got going on or what you got going on with Lynch Mob or anything like that. But is this something that is a one-and-done sort of album, or what's next for you guys?
Well, yeah, Ray's going to quit Korn, and Doug is going to quit King's X, and I'm going to quit Lynch Mob.
Breaking news across the screen.
No, don't say that. I'll get in trouble. We kid around about that all the time, but of course, we can't do that. But we are dedicated to finding a way to make this work, because the beauty of this is there's no reluctant astronauts in this three-headed musical monster. Everybody is passionate is the next guy involved. I mean, we all take care of business. You know, we all show up early and leave late, and we're always, you know, I mean, as you know, in bands, I mean, the least amount of work goes into the music. The most amount of work, really 80% of it, is everything that happens before and especially after. You know, we're doing a second and third, possibly fourth video coming up here next week or the week after next. We got 4 days carved out to do you know, follow-up videos that are going to last us hopefully throughout the album cycle. You know, the rest through the summer.
Nice.
And you know, lots of other things involved. You know, on and on and on. But you know, we have a publicist, we have a radio promotion guy, we've got a label, we've got a social networking person, and we're all involved in all those things with our merch, and we're even already talking about doing another record, which is great. You know,
that's cool.
Soon for that, but I mean, we're all excited about it. We want to get back in the studio, but I'm like, well, and we're trying to carve out some time to tour, and that is very, very, very challenging. Because,
I bet.
But
it's
we're
almost
dedicated to doing a live DVD at least. So do, you know, a month of touring and film it and release it that way. So that, you know, we can't get everywhere. So, you know, at least other people can see the band live. You know, like, you know, on the DVD. I mean,
May I suggest Colorado for filming this live DVD? Just throwing that out there.
Oh, yeah. Your house, your backyard. Yeah,
yeah, for sure. Oh, yeah, exactly. Even better. I didn't think of that. There's like a mystique about these super groups, if you will, kind of like Chickenfoot. Everybody's always wondering if those guys are always going to get back together and go tour and things like that. So it's cool, man. I think that's part of the coolness that this band has, is almost like a Chickenfoot, like wondering, will I ever get to see these guys? Will we ever get new music from them? So it's cool. But you have a bunch of other stuff going on as well. I mean, the main thing we wanted to talk about was KXM, but you got a bunch of other stuff. The last time you were here, we were talking about this documentary that you were doing called Shadow Train. Is that still in the works? What's going on with that?
Oh, we're in the final stages, and we are deep into the final edit, which is, you know, I just have to say, you know, next time I start any kind of project I know nothing about, I should probably read a book first, you know, like maybe Making Movies for Dummies or something. I don't know. But I have no business, or had no business, doing this. But, you know, 4 years later, we just about have it finished. And I mean, there's still a lot to do, but it's myself and the editors, you know, in an editing suite, you know, days after day after day, just, you know, going through hundreds of hours of footage and compiling this in a, you know, a logical way that's entertaining, and it's come a long way. And I have no idea what it is, quite honestly, at this point. But the movie is Shadow Nation. The band is Shadow Train. We have a double CD. That's the soundtrack to the film. That's finished. The film is almost finished, and it's very interesting, and it's very, you know, political, and it deals with Native American issues and other indigenous issues. And it's a film about human nature and music, really. And I tried my best to make it not, you know, so it wouldn't put you to sleep. And we joke around it a lot. That, you know, if it doesn't sell well commercially, we could always sell it as a sleeping aid.
There you go.
You know?
There you go.
I'm
happy you got a backup
and watch
plan.
Shadow Nation, you'll go right to sleep. But you know, there's talking heads in there, but we've got a lot of, you know, funny stuff and exciting stuff, and it's interesting and important, you know, and the music, of course, is cool, I think, and we've got visual stuff in there that's just eye candy, that's just dreamlike, surreal sequences made into the music that's just on its own. I mean, they're like little music videos, vignettes that are beautiful and interesting, and I think it's going to be okay.
Every time I talk to you about this, it makes me want to watch it more, and then I don't hear anything about it, so it kind of wears off, but now I really want to watch it again. So hurry up, please.
Oh, I'll get right on
it,
sir. Thank you. As soon as I'm done with the interview, I'm off to the editing suite.
Perfect.
Beach. I'll be right back.
Tell me about some of the other stuff you got going on, too. Like we mentioned earlier in the interview, I don't know how you have enough time in the day to do all these things, but Lynch Mob's still going. Are you still touring with that band? What's going on with those guys?
That is my main touring entity. That is the band that I can actually take on the road consistently. So we have a month in Europe this year, hitting a lot of the big festivals. We're hitting 5 or 6 large festivals in Europe and many other dates. And then we come back and we've got something slated, which I don't want to talk about yet, on the back end of the summer, which is very extensive and it's a really good package. So but I don't want to jinx it or, you know, cry wolf at this point. But quite a few other things touring-wise for Lynch Mob, and a record that we're thinking about finishing.
Nice.
Not anytime real soon, but interesting things going on with that. But I have many other projects. I have this. I'll just tell you, the day in the life of George Lynch is, I get up in my my slippers and my pajamas, and I do my coffee and my breakfast and my cigarettes, and I just hit the email to do the office thing. That takes me hours, and then I start my day, which is my physical active day, and that could be anything from going to my shop and working on guitars, or painting out in the backyard where I have my temporary spray booth, or carving bodies. Those are Mr. Scary guitars. I just started a pickup company called Mr. Scary Pickups, which I build as well. If I'm, there's a lot of paperwork and office work with that. And I have musical projects. The one I'm involved in right now, as we speak, is an industrial project with some of the programmers and engineers that work with Zombie and Nine Inch Nails and bands like that. And that's, it's just, I love it. I'm right in the middle of that. I don't know what that's going to be called or what it's going to be, but that'll be later on down the line. We'll release that. I have another project called The Infidels, which is the rhythm section from the band War.
Nice.
It's very heavy funk with kind of bandit gypsies improvising. It's hard to describe. We've got one song that's 17 minutes long that we just created off the top of our heads. It just happened. It's all, and we've got the singer from the B-side Players and Sendog from Cypress Hill, half Spanish, half English, very political.
That's crazy.
So that's a whole different thing.
Wow.
That will be out on iTunes at some point this year, and we're going to release a single every month.
Sweet.
And
We'll
then
look forward to
at the end of
that.
that process, we'll release the record and so forth.
Nice.
Yeah. And I've just finished writing the Michael Sweet record with Michael, which that's not going to be called the Michael Sweet record. And it's coming out in early spring of 2015, and it's got Brian Tichy on drums and James Lomenzo on bass, and it sounds fantastic. And it sounds very much like an evolution of what Dokken might have become. It is really, really wonderful music. It's in that vein,
right.
A little Lynch Mob-y, a little Dokken-y, but Michael Sweet's just an incredible singer.
Yeah.
And so that's I'm actually starting to finish guitars on the 6th. So the 6th through the 12th or the 11th, I'll be doing guitars, finishing that up, putting that to bed. That'll come out sometime early 2015. And then I jump right into the KXM videos, which is 4 days of shooting.
Whew.
And we're doing a video for Faith is a Room and a video for the song Gunfight. We're actually doing it for the European version of the song Gunfight, which is dramatically different than the American version, which is really, really awesome and unbelievable. I wish it was the domestic version, but we remixed and did some different things to the European version of the record, which is phenomenally different. Different guitar solos, different arrangements, different parts and stuff. So
interesting.
Be kind of one of those things, one of those little treats where people that dig the band, they're core fans, they just they kind of search out those other little tidbits.
Yeah,
so
certainly.
It's going to be interesting. It'll be like listening to the song Gunfight off the KXM record, and then they'll go, "Whoa, the video doesn't match the song."
Right,
What's
right.
up with that? It's longer, and it's got all these other cool parts. It's like it's really neat. And then I don't know what I'm doing after that. I don't know, something. I'll think of something.
Whew. I bet you will. You probably don't need anything else. But I know you brought it up, and I probably know the answer to this question already, and you probably don't even want me to answer this, but I can't do a George Lynch interview without bringing Dokken back up.
No.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. It's never going to happen. Never going to happen. Can we write that down for good? It's never going to happen.
Really write that down for good. Yes, again, you never say never, but for the short, medium term, it's absolutely not in the cards. There was a second here where we were thinking about it, and this is very recent, actually. We made one final attempt. It was a very strong attempt, and it looked like it was a strong possibility that would happen. But at the end of the day, people are who they are, and they reveal themselves, and it got very, very, very ugly, quite honestly. And I wish I would never gone down that road.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. So no more talk about Dokken. If you interview George Lynch, don't ask him. It's not happening.
You can ask me all I want, but I'll have a 2-letter answer for you.
Yeah, that was definitely.
Ends with O.
Yeah, you had like a little 5-minute segment after every question I asked today, but that one was definitely the shortest little segment. Quickly, no, it's not happening.
Jeff and I did, and Mick did a record called TNN, I think year last, and it was a good record. And we did some Dokken records on it and so forth, and brought in guest singers. Well, Jeff and I thought that we would just, why don't we just have Don come in and it'll be a Dokken record? Duh.
Right.
I mean, why not? And so that started the ball rolling again, and it ended up at a dead end very recently. So what Jeff and I and Mick have decided to do, which is our second plan of attack, is pick up this TNN record, which is half recorded actually, and in November, and have Michael Sweet come in.
Nice. And
Michael Sweet will be Don, new and improved, Don, without all the baggage. It can really sing, and he's a great guy, and really talented, a hard worker, just wonderful dude. So 4 of us get in there, and we just do what we did in Dokken, and we finish writing this new record and working on it this winter and calling it something else, because TNN was really a lousy name that we got stuck with right in the 11th hour because we got sued using tooth and nail, or somebody threatening to sue, so we just didn't have time to even think about it, so we just, abbreviate it.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, sweet, man. It sounds like you probably don't need to talk to me much more. You probably got work to do, but hey, man, it's always a pleasure talking to you. It's always one of my favorite interviews.
Yeah, to work.
I can. Well, that's true too. Then I don't either. I guess that's the case. You want to keep talking?
Yeah. Hey.
All right. I'll let you
come home if you let me. But you probably got other stuff to do too.
Well, but as always, man, thanks a bunch for taking some time. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
Play, dude.
Yeah, we're gonna play the single here after the interview's over. I'm actually gonna put it on the air, so we're gonna check it out. And where can we get it? It's on iTunes and everywhere else, I'm sure, huh?
Well, it's supposed to be at Best Buy. I go to my local Best Buy and check it out once in a while and get it's sometimes there. But hey, iTunes, Amazon, I imagine, just usual places.
Right.
It's out there if you look hard enough.
Yeah, it's doing not too bad, not too shabby.
I just wanted to say thank you to the fans, anybody that might be out there listening, for supporting this project, the KXM project, because all it really does is gives us an opportunity to continue to make music that you like, and that's really what it comes down to. So you support it, you buy it, you don't steal it. We get to keep doing it.
Yep, perfect, man. Well, thanks again, and we'll keep enjoying it. Keep putting it out, man.
Thank you, Butch.
Hey, no problem. Thank you, George. Talk to you soon.